Alright children, welcome back to AP Macroeconomics with your favorite teacher, me, Mr. Fritz. Today we're going to practice measuring inflation. In the last video I taught you how to calculate CPI and create a price index. Here we've already got a price index and we're going to use our percent change formula to measure inflation rate. So all it's going to be is your new minus old divided by old times 100. New being the most recent year you're looking at. So let's say we're measuring the inflation rate between 2021 and 2022. We're seeing how much prices changed over the course of that year. So the new CPI is going to be our 2022 CPI that was 103. We're going to subtract our old CPI, which was 100. And then we're going to divide it by the old again, which is still 100, and then multiply by 100, and that's going to come out to 103 minus 100. That's 3 divided by 100 times 100 is 3%. So that's how you measure the inflation rate using the price index that we created in the last video, using CPI. Now I'm going to show you between 2022 and 2023 just to make sure you don't mess up and make any mistakes. So between 2022 and 2023, the most recent year is 2023, and that is going to be a price index of 105 minus the old 103 from 2022 divided by the old price index of 2022, which is still 103. A mistake that a lot of kids make, a lot of times when I teach this, I use the base year, and then kids start ending up thinking that you always divide by 100. You are dividing by the old year, previous year's price index. In this case, the old one is going to be 2022, and that's 103. So it's going to be 105 minus 103, that's 2, divided by 103 times 100, and I'm going to have to use math for that. 2 divided by 103 equals times 100, and that comes out to 1.9%. So that means that between 2022 and 2023, there was a 1.9% inflation rate. So what we're experiencing here from 2022 to 2023 is going to be disinflation. The previous year, prices were rising by 3%. Now they're rising by 1.9%. Prices are still going up, but at a slower rate than they used to. Now we can use that inflation rate we calculated between 2021 and 2022 and see how that affects our wages. To find our real wage, we're going to take our nominal wage. Let's say I had a raise of 4%. My boss told me they're going to give me a raise and pay me 4% more next year. With an inflation rate of 3%, what I'm actually getting back, or what my raise is actually going to be, is going to come out to 4 minus 3, that is 1%. My real wage rose by 1% from 2021 to 2022. Let's say instead that had been a 2% raise that I received. If I got a 2% raise and inflation was 3%, I'd actually be getting paid 1% less than I did the previous year. So when you're getting raises and stuff like that in the future, you need to look and make sure, is my raise keeping up with the inflation rate? And if it's not, it might be time to look for a new job, if that's an option for you. We can also look at how it affects our real interest rate and what we're actually paying back on a loan. So let's say I walked into a bank in 2021 and they told me that I was going to pay 5% interest. That's my nominal interest rate. What I'm paying back based on how much a dollar is worth the day I'm taking out the loan. With an inflation rate of 3%, I would have ended up paying a real interest rate of 2%. So I'm still paying back that 5%, but it actually feels like 2% because prices are rising, and so the money is worth 3% less than it was when I took out the loan. The money I'm paying back to the bank can't buy as much stuff as it could the day I took out the loan. So I'm paying back $1 that is worth less than we anticipated. However, the next year, there was a 1.9% inflation rate. So now that inflation ended up being a little less, let's say that it does end up being that 1.9. I'm going to round that to 2 to make this math easier. Oh my God, I can't draw 2s. So if inflation actually fell to 2%, I would end up paying a 3% real interest rate. So when prices aren't rising as quickly as we thought, or there's disinflation, I, the borrower, am actually worse off. When prices rise more quickly than we expected, the borrower is better off, But when prices rise more slowly than we expected or actually go down, then the real value of my debt is going to be going up and the borrower is going to be worse off. We can also find our real wage by taking our nominal wage. Let's say that I've got a $40,000 salary this year, and I can divide that by the price level. So let's say in 2023, my salary is $40,000. I can figure out what that would buy in 2021 if I divide by the price index of 105 and then multiply by 100. All right, so that would be 40,000 divided by 105 equals times 100. And what that would come out to is, I'm gonna round it to $38,000. So what that means, earning $40,000 in 2023 has the same purchasing power as earning $38,000 in 2021. So if I was getting paid $40,000 in 2021 and still was making that same amount in 2023, I'd actually be making $2,000 less in real value or purchasing power. So that's how we calculate inflation and figure out how it affects us as wage earners and borrowers. In the next video, we're going to talk about unemployment and calculate the unemployment rate. I don't want to lose my job. No. Goodbye, children.